150 millimetres of rain could slam into parts of Queensland in the next 48 hours. And if you are anywhere from Brisbane to Cairns right now, you need to hear this before you make any plans for the weekend. But here is the twist most people are not expecting. This is not just a Queensland story. By Sunday, this entire rain band shifts south, and New South Wales, you are next in line. So if you think this does not affect you, stick around, because in the next few minutes, I am going to walk you through every single capital city, every major region, day by day, so you know exactly when the rain hits, when it peaks, and when it finally clears. And if you stay until the 5-minute mark, I am going to reveal 2 developing low-pressure systems that could turn into something much bigger next week, and almost nobody's talking about them yet. Right, let us get straight into it. Today, Thursday, the 12th of February, here is what is happening across the country right now. A massive high-pressure system is building out of the southwest corner of Australia. Think of it like a bulldozer. It is slowly ploughing eastward, and it is pushing everything in front of it towards New Zealand. And as this high-pressure ridge rolls through, it is dragging up a cold southerly wind behind it. If you are in Melbourne or Hobart right now, you have already felt it. That sudden drop in temperature this morning, that cold front that swept through Victoria and Tasmania earlier today, that is the leading edge of this system. It is now pushing north through New South Wales, and by this evening, it will have cleared the Australian Capital Territory completely. But here is where it gets interesting. While the south is cooling down, something completely different is brewing up north. Low pressure in the tropics combined with that high pressure building in the south creates what meteorologists call a convergence zone, a squash zone right through the middle of Australia. When you squeeze the atmosphere like that, thunderstorms explode. That is exactly what satellite imagery is showing right now. Massive thunderstorm cells firing up across northeast South Australia, pushing into Queensland and northern New South Wales. This is not a small event. This pattern is going to dominate the weather picture for the next several days. So let me break this down city by city, day by day, starting with tomorrow. And do not skip ahead because the timing details matter. Friday the 13th of February. And yes, the date is a little ominous, but do not worry. I am not here to scare you. I am here to make sure you are 100% prepared. Brisbane. Tomorrow morning, keep your eye on the sky from first light. That convergence zone shifts directly over Queensland, and central and southeastern parts of the state are looking at 60 to 80 millimetres of rainfall through the day. That is a serious amount of water. 60 millimetres in a few hours can turn a quiet suburban street into a flowing creek. But here is the detail that really matters. There is a band of heavier rain sitting just offshore near Brisbane and the Sunshine Coast, and models are showing 100 to 150 millimetres in that band. There is a fine line between that staying offshore and pushing inland. If it moves onshore, Brisbane and the Sunshine Coast could see a drenching that causes localised flash flooding. If it stays offshore, you might just get a grey sky and light showers. I will update you tomorrow as the models lock in, so make sure you are subscribed. Gold Coast and northern New South Wales, you're on the southern edge of this rain band. Expect scattered showers and thunderstorms through Friday, particularly from mid-morning onwards. The further south you go towards Coffs Harbour and Port Macquarie, the more it tapers off, but you are not completely in the clear. Sydney. Here is your good news for Friday. It is dry. The cold front has passed through, the southerly wind is easing, and you are looking at a pleasant day with temperatures sitting around the mid-20s. Classic Sydney summer weather. Enjoy it, because I have to be honest with you, it does not last. Canberra. Also dry on Friday. That cold front cleared through overnight, and you are sitting behind the high pressure now. Expect cool mornings, maybe down to about 14 or 15 degrees, clear skies and a comfortable afternoon. Melbourne. Dry and settled, the high pressure system is basically parked right over you. Expect light winds, sunshine and temperatures in the low to mid-20s. Classic late summer Melbourne without the drama for once. Make the most of it. Adelaide, mostly dry on Friday with just the chance of a stray coastal shower, but we are talking less than 1 millimetre. Barely enough to wet the pavement, nothing to change your plans for Hobart and Tasmania. A few showers lingering on the western side of the state, but unfortunately for the more populated areas in the north and east, including Hobart and Launceston, it stays fairly dry. If you manage to catch some rain from today's front, count yourself lucky, because the next decent chance is not until Tuesday, Perth and Western Australia. Dry and warm under high pressure. Nothing significant on the radar for Friday. Standard summer conditions, Darwin and the top end. Monsoon rain continues as expected for this time of year. Thunderstorms and heavy showers through the tropics, nothing unusual but still impressive if you are not used to it. Now do not skip ahead because Saturday is where things start to escalate significantly. Saturday the 14th of February. Happy Valentine's Day, Queensland, and I hope you like rain with your romance because the severe weather risk ramps up considerably. Here is the setup. That low pressure system off the Coral Sea is still lurking, large and lazy, feeding moisture directly into the Queensland coast. At the same time, more low pressure inland through Queensland combines with high pressure that has ballooned out from Tasmania all the way up to the Coral Sea. This creates a tight pressure gradient, and when isobars squeeze together, winds pick up sharply. Expect a brisk northeasterly across parts of Queensland and northern New South Wales, turning more northerly towards the Australian Capital Territory and curving around as an easterly for Victoria and southern South Australia. The severe weather risk zone on Saturday covers a large chunk of Queensland. Potential flash flooding, severe thunderstorms with damaging winds, and heavy downpours that could dump 40 to 60 millimetres in under an hour. Not everyone inside that zone will cop severe weather, but if you are anywhere in central or southeast Queensland, have a plan before Saturday morning. Know your evacuation routes. Make sure gutters and drains are clear. Charge your phone. Have a torch and battery-powered radio ready. Brisbane on Saturday. Showers and storms continuing through the day. The heaviest falls are more likely inland towards Toowoomba and the Darling Downs, but coastal areas are absolutely not off the hook. Stay weather aware all day. Sydney on Saturday. Still mostly dry, but you might notice that northeasterly breeze starting to pick up through the afternoon. Cloud increasing from the north. Melbourne, Adelaide, Hobart, Perth, all dry on Saturday. Enjoy the calm because the pattern is about to shift for some of you. Now here is the part I promised you earlier. Stay with me because Sunday is the plot twist that changes everything for New South Wales. Sunday the 15th of February, that heavy rain band that has been hammering Queensland for 2 straight days, it starts pushing south into New South Wales. The severe weather risk zone now drops down over northern and central New South Wales. We are talking the Northern Rivers region around Lismore and Byron Bay, the mid-north coast around Coffs Harbour, possibly reaching down into the Hunter Valley by late Sunday. 60 to 80 millimetres or more where thunderstorms fire up, and if you get a severe cell parked over your area, totals could be even higher. At the same time, a slight southerly change pushes through Western Australia. Between the inland low pressure over Western Australia and the next high pressure system out over the southern Indian Ocean, another squash zone develops. Southeasterly winds pick up along the west coast and you could see some showers and possibly thunderstorms forming through there. Perth, keep an eye on this. Sydney on Sunday, you are now on the edge of the action. Showers are possible, especially in the northern suburbs and along the northern beaches. Keep an umbrella handy if you are heading out. This is not a washout for Sydney, but it is not a beach day either. Brisbane on Sunday. The worst is easing compared to Friday and Saturday, but showers and storms are still lingering, especially in coastal areas. The peak has passed, but it is not over yet. Melbourne on Sunday. Still dry, but temperatures are starting to creep up as that northerly wind begins to establish itself. You can feel the change in the air. Adelaide on Sunday. Heat is returning, the warm air mass is sinking south out of central Australia, and you are going to start feeling it through the afternoon. Now let us jump into next week, and this is where it gets really interesting for the southern states. Do not miss this part. Monday the 16th of February, northerly winds are now streaming down across the entire continent. This is a dry, warm wind, and it is pushing temperatures up noticeably across South Australia, Victoria, the Australian Capital Territory, and even down into Tasmania. High pressure sitting southeast of Hobart is driving this northerly flow right down over the island state. If you are in Melbourne, expect the mercury to climb into the high 20s or possibly above 30 degrees. Adelaide, similar story. Hobart, you will notice a significant warm-up compared to the last few days. Dry conditions dominate across the entire southern half of the country. Up in Queensland and northern New South Wales, showers continue in the northeast corner, particularly around the northern rivers and coastal Queensland, but they are easing off and becoming more scattered. Large dry areas are returning to the forecast. Tuesday the 17th of February. The heat pushes further into South Australia. Adelaide, you could see temperatures climbing well above average, potentially mid to high 30s. At the same time, a cooler sea breeze develops along coastal areas of New South Wales and Victoria through the afternoon, and this onshore flow could trigger a few light showers near the coast. Melbourne might see a brief shower late in the day, but mostly it stays dry and warm. Tasmania. Now, if you have been desperate for rain, and I know many of you have been, keep a very close eye on Tuesday. There is a line of showers showing up in the models moving towards Tasmania from South Australia. It is still a touch too far out to lock it in with certainty, and it could shift offshore by the next model run, but right now it looks promising. Fingers well and truly crossed for you. I will have a better picture tomorrow. Wednesday, the 18th of February. The heat really arrives for New South Wales, the Australian Capital Territory, and northern Victoria. Temperatures push up further, and if you are not a fan of the hot weather, Wednesday could be genuinely uncomfortable. We are seeing that warm air mass now extending right down through the eastern seaboard from Queensland all the way to the Bass Strait. A line of showers is still possible from South Australia through parts of Victoria and into Tasmania on Wednesday. If this system holds together in the models, it would be genuinely welcome relief for those dry areas. Queensland on Wednesday. The usual tropical showers continue up in the north, but they are nowhere near as big or as widespread as this weekend-S event. The worst is well and truly behind you by midweek. Now here is the part you absolutely cannot miss, and this is what I promised you at the start. There are two areas of low pressure developing that we are monitoring very closely. One is forming in the Northern Territory and the other is near the Pilbara and Kimberley regions of Western Australia. Both appear to be drifting westward, which is an unusual track. Now, I'm not going to overhype this. Sometimes these systems develop into something significant, a tropical low or even a cyclone, and sometimes they fizzle out to nothing. But given the time of year and the warm ocean temperatures feeding them, these are worth watching closely. If either of these lows intensifies, it could bring significant rain and potentially severe weather to parts of northern and western Australia later next week. I will have a full update on both systems in tomorrow's video. Let me quickly recap the key timing you need to remember. Friday and Saturday, Queensland is the hotspot. 60 to 150 millimetres possible in the heaviest bands. Severe thunderstorms likely. Flash flooding risk is real and should be taken seriously Sunday. The rain band shifts south into New South Wales. Northern rivers and mid-north coast are most at risk. Sydney on the fringe, Monday through Wednesday. The south heats up significantly. Northerly winds drive temperatures higher across South Australia, Victoria, the Australian Capital Territory and Tasmania. A few coastal showers possible, but mostly dry and hot. Two low pressure systems developing in the north. Monitoring closely. Full breakdown coming tomorrow. And now I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below telling me where you are watching from. Are you in Brisbane bracing for this weekend? Are you in Townsville watching those storms build? Are you in Melbourne enjoying the calm before the heat? Are you in Tasmania praying for that Tuesday shower? Tell me your location and I will do my best to give you a personalised update in the replies or in tomorrow's video. And if this forecast helped you, share it with someone who needs to see it. One share could help a neighbour prepare for flash flooding or remind a mate to clear their gutters before Saturday. Tomorrow, I will be back with updated models, sharper rainfall numbers, and a closer look at those two developing lows. One of them is showing early signs that have caught my attention, and I want to walk you through exactly what that could mean for Northern Australia. You will not want to miss that one. I will see